What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton. Hey, I want to thank you all for waking up this morning, getting on over to Lions Talk Live Morning Show Edition. And today we've got a little bit of a topic to debate, to consider, for everybody to have their own opinions on. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. Just your answer. As you can probably tell from today's thumbnail, it is the life and reality all coaches face. All general managers face. If you are being paid to perform a job in professional sports, you're hired to be fired. I know I throw that saying out at you guys often, but just something I've learned over the decades of coaching. That is going to be the topic, the main topic for today's show. Detroit Lions were to struggle. And no, personally speaking, I don't think they're going to struggle next year. I think it's going to be a bounce back year and a big bounce back year for the Detroit Lions next year. But for the topic, if the Detroit Lions were to struggle at all next year, what happens between the regime of Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell? Let's be fair. Brad Holmes did not hire Dan Campbell. If the Lions were to struggle next year, could Brad Holmes be forced into a corner where he tries to preserve his own job and say to Sheila or whoever, maybe Chris Spielman, say, hey, I didn't hire this guy. You need to let me get my own guy in here. And does that buy him 2 to 3 more seasons? We're going to break this down. And I want to see what you guys have to say about it, because right now, I get it. It's the offseason. We're not through the Super Bowl yet. We're not into free agency. I don't really want to do 49,000 different mock drafts on the show. I just don't think, man, really what's going to change from one mock draft to the next unless you wait a couple weeks to get more information on people. So I don't want to have 50,000 different mock drafts on this channel. I get some people enjoy it. I enjoy doing them. I just don't want to have a ton of them because I don't want to change my opinion every week just to have a new video out. But we are going to break that down. We are going to have the 5 headlines, and it'll be interesting to see what you guys have to say about it. There are already some sort of suggesting Mcdc has tied his wagon to Drew Pretzling. And I get it, the new OC, not exactly the most known OC across the NFL, definitely for the media. So that is leading to a certain degree to the main top of the day. Before we get into all that, though, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, I got to ask why not, man? Come on now. We're on here 7 days a week. Come on over and hit the subscribe button. But in all seriousness, we are just 45 subs away from hitting 16,200. So if you can help out with that, at least I will be very thankful. I'm guessing the Duke crew will be thankful as well. Also, if you have a half second of time, reach on over, hit the thumbs up button, the like button. Just hit all the buttons. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more. Thumbs up or likes. Last but not least, if you are anywhere in the state of Michigan and looking for representation when it comes to buying real estate or selling real estate, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text, 269-998-2384. I've been in the industry for over 30 years. So if you want somebody who's going to help you with understanding leases, the purchase agreements, the sale agreements, negotiating good prices, making sure all the different entities involved in the transactions are overcharging you, sticking their hands really deep into your bank accounts or stuff like that, then reach out to me and we'll have that conversation. If you're outside of the state of Michigan, I can still try to help you out. Just got to do things a little bit differently. Again, you see the number on your screen. Go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text, and go from there. All right, with all that done, out of the way, let's get the show into the 5 headlines now. Then we'll get into the main topic, and we'll break this down. I can only say this before we get into the 5 headlines now. I do think to a certain level, the Lions, it's going to come down to how you interpret Sheila's letter she sent out to all the loyalty members or the season ticket holders, basically. In my opinion, that's I think she kind of put Brad and Dan a little bit on notice. This past season, I get it. A lot of things went against the Lions, but if you're Sheila, how many seasons in a row do you kind of give them a loose rope in order to see what they're going to do? I think Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, they need to not only make the playoffs this year, I do think there's some pressure on them to win a game or two in the playoffs. We'll see what shakes out, but that is the reality of sports. You're hired to be fired. All right, 1, 2, 3. Let's get into the 5 headlines now, and then the main topic of the day. Whew, and sometimes I really do forget on my computer to not turn that volume down a little bit for that one. All right, Lions going to need a near complete revamp of the tight end room after hiring Drew Pretzing. A to Z Sports story by Mike Payton. This will be something that will be a debate. I know a lot of different outlets, both nationally, both YouTube-wise, or whatever you want to throw out there, media-wise, are all kind of the same boat. They think for Big Drew, who's in the house, the way he likes to run things, Lions are going to have to go more 12 personnel, big blocker, tight ends, etc. What do you do with Tesla? What do you do with St. Brown? What do you do with Sam I Am Laporta? All those are going to be analyzed. And here's the only thing I can say. Mike Payton's got a pretty nice story here, brings up a lot of questions. I think Pretzing is going to be like every other coach I've ever met. You're going to work with what you have. He's probably going to make some adjustments. I know when he was first hired, we talked about it on the show. It's my opinion. St. Brown's going to take over some of that dual tight end role because he does block well. He runs a lot of routes that typically you would see more flexible tight ends take on. My personal opinion is, unless Drew's just somebody who's, this is the way I do it, it's got to be this way, which I wouldn't think they would have hired him then. I think you're going to see Tesla on the field a lot. I think you're going to see St. Brown do the same stuff he always does. Same with Sam Laporta. It doesn't mean in the draft or free agency they couldn't add some more people to try to achieve certain things. But the NFL is very, whatever's the hot trend. Think back, if you were old enough to remember, when the greatest show on turf was out there, Kurt Warner, the St. Louis Rams, a lot of teams in the NFL started trying to replicate what they were doing. And then you saw teams go more to a different style when that became hot. And this, that, and the other thing. Detroit Lions, whether you like McDC or not, he did change the NFL by putting a bigger emphasis on the running game and bringing in linebackers back to the game. And I think you're seeing that a lot with the LA Rams and other teams trying to copy it. Pretzing, in my opinion, I think he's kind of a part of that trend, going back to more 12, 13 personnel. Yes, I do think the Lions will probably add some tight ends, but I don't think they're going to get rid of the guys they already have here because they're outstanding football players. My personal opinion, if you've got good talent, you find a way to get good talent on the field. All right, Lions facing early backup quarterback mistake weeks into the offseason. Detroit Jock City, story by Evian Alford. Is this a big story? Who knows? But, hey, it's out there, so let's go with it. There was a quarterback that at least this particular reporter, Alford, wanted the Detroit Lions to get. Lions missed golden opportunity to bring in ex-Eagles quarterback Kyle McCord. The decision by the Packers were to put him on a futures contract. Lions had an opportunity to throw one his way as well. Could he have been something for the team? I think the kid's got some talent. I think he's got some upside. I think, the Packers are probably going to do a pretty good job trying to develop him, especially if Malik Willis is allowed to leave the building. And I do think that's going to be a possibility. Malik Willis, I think, is going to command some interest in free agency. I don't think the Packers are going to be able to retain him. We'll wait and see. Could the Lions have added this piece to their roster? If their plan is to move on from Kyle Allen, maybe it would have been a strong move. I would not have minded having them add him just for competition in camp, see who could win the backup spot. Whether or not that backup quarterback's ever really going to be on the field, we all probably hope not, because that would mean Jared Goff is off the field, your starting quarterback. But this time of year, you're always looking to improve your roster. There could be some information there and maybe some thought processes to why the Lions should have been a little bit more, I guess, aggressive trying to sign a quarterback like Kyle McCord, or maybe they just had plans to get somebody else in there. That also could be a topic of conversation throughout the offseason. All right, Lions Drew Pretzing hire comes with a fun anti-Bears twist. Fans may like. Sideline report, Mike Luciano with this one. If you don't know by now, I guess we'll bring you up to speed. Big Drew and, yes, Ben Johnson are pretty close friends. Big Drew was, like the best man at his wedding and vice versa, all this other stuff. And yes, apparently Drew Pretzing has come out and said he may try to get revenge on the Bears this season because he apparently was considered to come on over to the Bears this past offseason, but got passed over. But Ben Johnson didn't hire his best friend. Could that be an axe to grind with Big Drew? It's possible. Here's the other thing I'd throw out there. You've got a huge rivalry that is budding, if just between the coaching staffs between these two organizations. You guys all know Ben Johnson took a lot of now former Lions coaches over to the Chicago Bears. Yes, the Lions have a bunch of people that don't like the fact that Ben Johnson stayed in division with taking a new job. Yes, Drew was not a fan of not getting passed over, or did get passed over by his friend with the Chicago Bears. So there's a lot of different layers to this thing. Will this be maybe the biggest rivalry in the NFC North next year? I think it's possible. People are going to break down and analyze different aspects of what's going to take for the Lions to get back into first place, back into potentially trying to get one of the higher seeds in the playoffs. One of the biggest things is you got to beat your own division, something the Lions didn't do well this year unless they played the Chicago Bears. If they could just play the Chicago Bears 8 times this year, they probably would have been in the playoffs and they probably would have been the number 1 seed in the NFC. All right, grading first season Detroit Lions defensive coordinator Kelvin Shepard. Detroit Lions and SI, story by Christian Boer. What do you guys think of his first season? I actually thought he did a pretty good job. Yes, injuries probably changed a whole lot of game plans. I think it's also fair to say he got caught off guard with some situations he wasn't prepared for. But in my opinion, that's not unforeseen for a coach with limited experience in their position to not know some of the counter punches to this situation, that situation. Going through Christian Boer's personal take on it, he analyzes a whole lot of stuff, what some of the strengths of the defense were, what some of the weaknesses were. He gives them basically an overall C+ grade. Now, could you Scooby-Doo that and say it's a B-? Could you say it was a B? I'll leave that to you guys in, with your own opinions on it. Let's not forget the Lions finished tied for 19th in takeaways with 19 and finished with a +4 turnover differential. They finished 18th in total yards allowed per game, and that's surprising considering the last 6 weeks of the season were not very good. 20th in passing yards allowed and 14th in rushing yards allowed. And again, 14th, considering the last 6 weeks, you were almost giving up 500 yards a game. Whew. Unfortunately, the defense did not finish the season on a high note as the explosive plays by opponents were not kept contained and derailed the team's chances of winning must-win games down the stretch. I think most of us agree that Minnesota Christmas Day game, if you could just take away 2 or 3 plays from the Vikings, you probably win that game. Lions don't turn the ball over so much, you probably win that game. And you could analyze every game that we lost this year. 1 or 2 plays really could have turned losses into wins. Shep, is he going to be better next year than he was this year? I would say the evidence is probably yes, just because he'll have more experience, probably be a whole lot more healthy on the defense. And I do think the Lions are going to spend a whole lot of draft picks on the defense this year. At least that's my real hope. And again, I need to do another mock draft. Probably need to add in at least my thoughts on free agency, see where that takes us. But maybe this week I'll get mock draft 2.0 out there or something like that for you guys. All right, last of the 5 glorious headlines now. Lions may not be done. Picking from the Cardinals coaching staff. A to Z Sports by Mike Payton. Is it possible there's more gold to be mined from the Arizona Cardinals? It is possible. Apparently, according to this report, Lions were talking to a couple different people with the Arizona Cardinals about coming on over. Pretzing may not be the only one on the table. And yes, the next one up, Pretzing is looking to bring over a couple of people with the team. There are options out there to watch like John Embry and Tim Kelly or Kevin Kroger to come on over. All these gentlemen were subordinate coaches to Big Drew, and he's talking to them apparently to come on over and join the Lions coaching staff. It'd make a lot of sense to me if this guy already has a good tie or feeling for, say, the former wide receiver coach, running back coach, whatever it is, other coach, quality control coach, passing game structure coach. He may be trying to bring over 2, 3, maybe 5 other coaches to help join the Detroit Lions. My personal take on that, If these guys already know what you want and there's less of a learning curve, it speeds up the success rate for the team. I would probably make the same move myself if I was in his shoes, as long as MCDC gave him his blessings, which I'm going to guess that was part of the interview process about bringing in Drew to be the OC. So in probably the next week or so, expect the Lions to sign a few of these guys, if not all of them, if they don't have better opportunities somewhere else to upgrade their career. Because at the end of the day, these guys got to make choices that best fit their careers. All right, with all that done, Salaway, let's get over to the main top of the day and see what you guys have to say. How much heat is on the bottom of that seat for both Brad and Dan going into this next offseason? Let's analyze it. All right, in your opinion, let's start with this. In your lifetime, who are the top 3, 5, Detroit Lions coaches? And that's going to change with each of us. My personal opinion does not need to be your viewpoint. I would say MCDC, if he's not number 1, he's probably number 2. To me, Wayne Fontes is probably always going to be number 1 in my book, just because the age that I was when he was there with the Detroit Lions, the personality that he had, being a full-time reporter at that point and getting an interview him, being around him with the team. I mean, some of those guys in the Herman Moores, Robert Clarks, Barry Sanders, Kevin Glovers, Chris Spielmans, Benny Blades, all those guys, Mike Kofer, they're always going to be very dear to me. So because of that, I probably have an emotional bias towards Wayne Fontes. But that doesn't mean Dan Campbell isn't in the top 3 pantheon of Lions coaches of all time, or maybe even number 1 or 2, given my day and mood at the time. I think what we can all agree is he's done a whole lot, along with Brad Holmes and a lot of other subordinate coaches and staff, organizational pieces, to turn this franchise around. It is no longer the worst franchise in the NFL or North American professional sports. It's now amongst the upper echelon. With that also being said, Sean McDermott was shown the door just a couple days ago. You guys all know it. He had a pretty good run with the Buffalo Bills, but obviously it wasn't enough of a run with the Buffalo Bills. When it comes to Mike Tomlin, was he fired? Was he told, hey, resign or you will be fired? The reality of sports and coaching and everything is you need to put up results. Otherwise, people are going to show you the door. MCDC, I think we all understand, turned the franchise around, made it a hot topic, the Detroit Lions, and yes, got us the NFC Championship game. The following year, despite the defense being completely obliterated with injuries, I mean, if you had any clue who was out there for the Detroit Lions defense, you probably had a cheat sheet in front of you. And yet still, they found a way to win 15 games, become the number 1 seed. Fortunately, that first game of the playoffs, as you guys all know, they lost to the Washington Commanders, and that started at least some rumors, some suggestions. Is he the right guy? I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just here to tell the news. This year, whatever you want to say, whoever you want to blame, whatever finger you want to point, facts are facts, Jack. Detroit Lions had high expectations coming into this past season. They did not meet those expectations. I can't speak for Sheila Hamp-Ford. I can only speak for myself. And when I say this, it is going to be something that I'm sure is already on DC's mind and Brad Holmes' mind. When they go into this offseason, if you want to know why I think Brad Holmes is going to at least somewhat open up the checkbook this year, I think it's because he knows if they don't win, that's probably not a good look for either gentleman's time here in Detroit. I don't know Sheila Ford Hamp personally, but how long of a rope does she give either gentleman, Dan Campbell or Brad Holmes? That's something that, I think the Duke crew, if you guys have thoughts on it, throw it over there. I think if the Lions can make the playoffs this year and win one playoff game, both gentlemen are probably safe because you know what? You have a certain level of consistency. 1 or 2 things go your way. You're in the NFC title game. Maybe from there you even make the Super Bowl. Lions don't make the playoffs again this year, 2 straight years. That's where I think the seat, the Brunson burner under both guys' seats probably gets turned up to another level. And yes, maybe Brad Holmes, being as human as you or me, says, hey, I've got to do something to save my own butt, my own job. And I didn't hire Dan Campbell. Maybe I have to show him the door to try to save my own job, try to get 2 or 3 more seasons. What are your guys' thoughts? And this will be a lightning rod topic a little bit for sure. Is it something we would talk about during the regular season? Probably not. But the reality of the offseason, things get speculated on. Things get talked about. Facts get analyzed. And results get analyzed for all coaching staffs. My opinion, once again, I think Dan Campbell in my lifetime is probably a top 3 Lions coach. Maybe an argument can be had to be number 1. I've already told you, though, Wayne Fontes is probably always going to be number 1 to me, though. Where do you rank Dan Campbell in your pantheon? What do you think the Lions have to do for this time next year or after the Super Bowl next year for us all to say, yeah, Dan Campbell's not going anywhere? He's probably secured himself another year or 2 or 3 or whatever it may be. Let me know your thoughts. Let's break this on down and see what you guys have to say. I love Dan Campbell. I think most of us do, but sports are a reality, and it's a tough reality. You're hired to be fired. You need to put up results, or you are shown the door, unfortunately. Mike Tomlin given a long rope in Pittsburgh. He did win a Super Bowl, though, which probably helped aid that. Also, the Pittsburgh Steelers are not the Detroit Lions. Pittsburgh Steelers, I think, have like 3 coaches or 4 coaches throughout most of my lifetime. I mean, if you get hired there, reality is you're probably going to have about a 10 to 20-year run as a head coach, and that is an anomaly, not the normality. So, all right, let's get to the top of the comment section, see what you guys have to say. Hope everyone is having a great start to your day. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. What's going on with the topic today? And now you know, no one's half the battle. Big Eddie, Campbell is no different than any other coach in the NFL. Have to win or you get shown the door. Year 6 is here. Ooh, I didn't even think about that. Time for him to produce. You know, to be fair to him, in analyzing him, he's done nothing but go up, and away every year except this year. Yes, we all get it. There's a couple of games where maybe the refs messed us over. Injuries were too much. Play calling here and there. I know some of you will get on him about going for it on 4th down. I don't know. But to your point, year 6 of the Dan Campbell experiment is here. Bo, good morning, Duker. Everybody has their limits. Woo! And back at you. Good to see you, Bo. Jess, greetings, salutations, Duker. Is it possible? Question mark. Yes. Do I think it will happen? Question mark. No, not unless we fall apart next year. Yeah, I think if we were to drop to like a 4 to 5, 6-win team, something like that, it would probably be a statement against Dan Campbell, and then maybe you could say the chance of him getting fired were about 80%. If they go 9-8 again, what percentage do you guys think that he stays or goes? Let me know in the comment section. Moonscar Blade, the pride of Papa. Good morning, Duke Crew. Off-season bench warmers! Exclamation point. I'm just going to hope for success and keep a coach the players believe in. I'll go with that 100%. That being said, eventually every coach message gets stale. So let's go. Yeah, that does happen, and that's why coaches move around. One thing I learned a long time ago in coaching, you're always playing for that next contract. So whether the team you're currently with or the next one to offer it to you, somebody can look at it as stale. Somebody else can look at it as, man, I need that. It's why a lot of coaches do jump ship from one program to the next, because they know they're safe for a few more years. Riley O'Brien, good morning, Lions family, and back at you awfully early out there in Utah. Rob Hawk, good morning, all. Explanation. Think everyone is safe for now, but perform next season, though. Yes, must perform next season indeed. Johnny L, good morning, folks. Always good morning to have you around, Johnny. Here's Johnny. Until then, slow news day, question mark. MCDC not getting fired, especially with Sheila being the owner. I don't know, man. I never thought they would fire Wayne Fontes, and then they did. They probably regret that. Moonscar Blade, this is also why I said yesterday this offseason and next season is important to see if we can take a good team and rebuild it into a great one again. Yeah, I think we all agree the 2 years ago, that team was great. Unfortunately, things happened. Last year, obviously injuries, retirement, and everything derailed it a bit. Drake, if the team, hold on. Had to sneeze there. Drake, if the team were to go 4-13, then yeah, DC has to get results. I just don't think Brad and Dan are going to be let that go down, because it would be both of their jobs. Yeah. And I know I brought up the point about Brad Holmes. Hey, could he, let go of Dan Campbell to hire somebody else to try to buy his contract more time? It's possible. Johnny, he's not getting fired. I hope not, man. I hope not. Anymore. Good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew. What a team. What a podcast. Exclamation point. What a time be a Lions fan. Woo! And back at you. Dave, Attila Hun, it's the offseason. The news does get so. It is true. It is true, unless you just want to talk about mock draft, this, that, the other thing all the time. I also think Dan Campbell's seat is hot. What coach in the NFL doesn't face the chance to be fired if their owner's goal is a Super Bowl? That is the other aspect. It's not like when Dan Campbell took over, they were all talking Super Bowls. That's not the case. It was, hey, make us relevant. Now you've been relevant for half a decade. So what does that do to Sheila or the ownership's expectations? Does it stay the same? Hey, just win enough for us to be around in December, I guess, late December? Or is the expectation now, hey, the Super Bowl? If it's a Super Bowl and you're not delivering on even the playoffs, that will probably get you fired. Johnny, you're right until they're trying to dig things up. Just talk about now. Well, if you guys have topics for the show, throw them over in the comment section. You guys can help me out then. Jen, good morning, all. Exclamation point. Got to love this drive into work. Stay home if you can. Hopefully you're doing okay, Jen. And yes, I know coming back from our game last night, whole lot of ice on them roads. Till then, I mean, it isn't very hard to figure out how to fix the team. It's fairly obvious. Offensive line, defensive line, secondary, health above all. Health above all, yeah. Lions, unfortunately, as you guys know, have been kind of a snake bit with that last few years. The hard part is we can all say it's obviously going to fix that and the other thing, but you got to hit on those picks or signings if it's free agent signings. If they don't pan out or the injury bug jumps up again. Jess, I disagree, Johnny. I think if he goes 8-9 or 9-8 again this year, Campbell needs to be removed. Personally, I think he isn't a good coach, and we should have kept Johnson over him. There are some that talk about that. I don't know enough about Dan Campbell. I can tell you my opinions. There's things I would do differently, but I would throw this out there. That's probably true with every coach alive. Somebody's going to do something different than you, and that's just reality. Jameer, greetings and salutations, and back at you, Johnny. Sorry you feel that way, Jess. Hey, we all have our feelings. France, Buffalo's coach must have thought he was safe. Ooh, that's probably a good point. Bunch of winning seasons, made the playoffs. No other real coaching option out there. How did that work out for him? So with Sean McDermott, I was actually surprised they fired him just because I know you pointed out who you were replacing with. If I think the Buffalo Bills, for them to fire McDermott, one thing is clear: Super Bowl or bust. And if you're firing him, who is available that you can get that you can clearly say, hey, you're going to come in your first season, you need to win the Super Bowl, or you're on the hot seat. And when somebody's going to take that job because it's a job, but to your point, there aren't a lot of, home run options at coaching that at least I'm considering. You guys may know a few, throw them out there in the comment section. I'm just not thinking of them. Dilla, don't want another Andy Reid situation here in Detroit. Philadelphia gave up on him, and to see him have a dynasty in Kansas City. It's true. But for every example you have with Andy Reid, you probably have just as many, if not more, that, hey, it was the right move going on. I don't know, man. We'll see what shakes out. Xavier, greetings, salutations, Coach Dan Duku. Hope everyone has a blessed and safe day. Exclamation point. I hope we get some great players in the draft and free agency. Me too. And I know Attila and a bunch of you guys, Johnny, have pointed out, you guys get a couple of right points, or we get a couple of the right parts out here. I think Detroit Lions are great. There were some that disagreed with my breakdown of the Detroit Lions. I want to say a week or two ago. I said, the Detroit Lions have arguably the best skill position groupage of players out there in the NFL. So if you can just fix that offensive line a little bit, it's reasonable to believe the Detroit Lions offense could be top 3 in the league. Now, if you can just do a little bit to that defense too, and you get healthy again, that defense could really shine as well. So I don't think they're far off by any stretch. But with that also being said, I can't be the only idiot that looks out there and says, hey, we got a ton of talent here. And if that talent doesn't produce, if you don't get wins, people come after you. Let's see, Johnny, I'm not worried about it. I'm glad we're not worrying anything. Susan, how about a Tomlin situation? Question mark. But wait, he won one 15 years ago. Since then, he did what? That's probably ultimately what got him out. Plus, coaching is draining, physically, emotionally. The fact that he did it for basically 20 years at the NFL level, give that man a morning Mountain Dew. He's more than earned a season off or two if he wants. It's draining coaching at any level. Dealing with different personality situations beyond your control. If you've never coached before, the only thing I'd say is there's a whole lot of reasons why coaches, not all of them, but a lot of them really develop health issues, substance issues, marriage problems, because it is so draining. Just the times I've coached professionally, 180-hour work week, that's the norm. Maybe 120 if you're lucky. And think about what that does to the rest of your life. So Tomlin, hey, I salute you, man. People might not always like what he did, but you know what? The fact that he did it consistently, won, and was relevant for 20 years, good for him, man. Good for him. Jen, and after a good day of getting information on the new OC, I can see why Dan chose him. Still a wait and see. Yeah. I like a lot of things. I know we talked about it on the show the last couple of days. I like a lot of things about Drew Pretzing. I think he's going to fit in fairly well with what MCDC's vision of the offense is and how he wants to control games, etc. That also being said, Jen, like you point out very famously, all the stuff on X and O's and on the paper can look great until you get them on the field. They need to produce on the field. Bo, how many NFL head coachings actually retire? They might retire when they get shown the door. But to your point, Bo, if I'm understanding it correctly, you could probably say for all coaching, there are far more coaches that get fired than just retire on their own terms, and that's just reality of it. Johnny L., man, our weather is about to take a bejesus. Hey, I was surprised to see schools weren't closed around here, but come Friday, I'm guessing they all are because it's going to be like negative 30 with wind chill or something like that. Trey, I don't want a situation where we are, quote, okay with being average. MCDC turned the team around, but what has he done the last 2 years? Just saying, I get why his seat could be warm. Yeah. And if 2 seasons become 3 seasons, I think that's where it starts getting a little tight around the collar. I'll tell you, this fan base has its Brad haters, Dan haters, Goff haters, Hutch haters, except it takes all types. That's probably well said, man. I like that. But yeah, I mean, 2 people, we said this yesterday, 2 people can see the same thing and have completely different takes on it. Some people can view the painting as one of the greatest paintings all time. Some people would say that's a terrible painting, and that's just personal opinions. Silver Server, good morning, coach, and all Lions faithful. And back at you, Johnny. You could not be more correct, Attila, and I am not one of them. All right. So hopefully you are a Lions fan, my friend. Anymore. To your point, Susan Scotts, you are correct. MCDC isn't going anywhere from what the Lions were until now. It's a vast difference. We should stay the course. Hopefully they do stay the course. Conan the Barbarian. Love Campbell as our coach. If we don't make the playoffs next year, we have to be fair. That would mean in 3 straight seasons, blow number 1 seed, miss playoffs. Not a good trend for sure, and we'll see how it goes. Pierce, another missed playoff year. Yes, one of them needs to go. MCDC should probably change the way they practice because of repeated injury problems. Full pad Fridays need to go. You know, I would assume that every offseason they do a lot of rethinking, retooling, trying to how can we improve on this, that, the other thing. And I would imagine how can we improve upon the injury situation of recent years. Johnny, yes, and yes. I agree with you, Henry. That's a lot of yesing. Conan, so why would he not be fired? I can't answer that one. Johnny, wow. What's up with all the negativity? I don't think it's negativity, but you do have to be fair and analyze things. I guess if what I could say, Johnny, is if we're being analytical about it, and let's just say to some of the comments, we don't make the playoffs next year. Why would we keep the coach unless it was an emotional reason why? Because the analytics would say the last 3 years you haven't performed up to snuff. And that's, I mean, who knows? Sheila could say, hey, you got a lifetime contract. I could see that because he's done great things here. But at some point, even Chuck Noll got fired. Or what's the guy with Dallas Cowboys? Oh, the hat, Tom Landry. Okay, good morning, Duke Crew One Pride. I said yesterday, if MCDC doesn't get it done this upcoming season, there would be a good chance he'd be out the door. Yeah, and no disrespect to any coach. You know, I know I just brought up Tom Landry. Remember all the backlash, if you're old enough to remember, when he was fired. I mean, that man was a institution in Dallas, or you could just say Texas. People were rioting the street. Buildings were being torn down. It was the end of times. And then Jimmy Johnson won a Super Bowl too, and everybody was like, ooh, maybe they made the right choice. Let's see. Big Eddie. Conan the Barbarian, our objective should be Super Bowl at this point. To your point, if we miss the playoffs again, someone explain to me why we would not look for a coaching upgrade. We'll have to find out. Coach, Lions wanted to go with Dr. Drew. Ooh, evil Drew. How about that? Question mark. Lions wanted to go with the Pez. I tell you what, I'm going to embrace it and all the way through. We're going to have the Drew crew around here. We could have the Drew Prez crew or the Prez crew, the Drew crew. I don't know. We'll have to work on that one. Mr. Nico, MCDC, good to see you, by the way, my friend. MCDC and Brad are putting their jobs on the line with this new OC pick. As a fan, we don't have as much to lose as they do. Trust the process and prepare for a rebuild. We need to stay healthy. Health, I think, would go a long way with this team. David, Johnny, I don't think anyone is negative. They're just saying, could MCDC get canned if we miss the playoffs again? Some feel yes. Yeah, that's probably a fair way to look at it. Look at Sheila laid down the law. Exclamation point. I thought in that statement to the loyalty members or the whatever season ticket holders, depending on how you read that terminology that she used, I thought she was more or less saying, hey, we need to win next year. David, Mr. Nico, yes, I agree. They have to hit the season. So, sir, she really did. She really did. Johnny, yes, I agree. You're right. Dave, we just have to wait and see. Yeah, wait and see. And, hey, I think we're going to have a phenomenal 2026. That's just my personal thoughts, but I am positive, Pete. Pierce, okay, yes. Yep, we had this talk yesterday. MCDC hitches wagon to Petzing. And if I know you pointed this out, Pierce, I think some others did in the comments section. If he misses on this pick, then 75% of his OC hires he will have fired. So it's not a good look. Sir, good morning, Hookadoo, Johnny, Attila, Pierce, and Big Eddie. All of the above. Jen, Brad needs to actually use free agency to help out the offensive line. That's where I would go with it. I would sign Linderbaum. What do you need? We got it for you right here. Linderbaum, and then I would probably go after another tackle. I think the guards are good. I think they're only going to get better. At least they, if they don't have good grades on Ratledge or Chris Mahogany, then maybe you have to address another guard situation. But I think if you can add two pieces of that O-line, I keep saying it, I'm spending a whole lot of that draft on the defense. Pierce, sir, good morning, and back at you both. Jess, I think so too, Pierce. The other part of this young Lions team starts to become old Lions pretty quick here. That is the other part. While we are overall pretty young, another year or two, some of these younger guys, St. Brown, Hutch, and Penei Sewell, they start getting up there in NFL years. Pierce, how does everyone feel about MCDC needing to change the way they practice? They need to find a way to stay healthy. Xavier, yes, Sheila did lay down the law to them, and I am glad. Exclamation point. You set expectations, right? Bo, Biden laid that out some years back. In a 5-year period, a staff should be able to reach the game. If not, most are turned over. Yeah, and that's the other part. You've had a bit of time. Yes, I understand he made the NFC title game. I love Dan Campbell. I hope he is here. But that also means my hope means he's producing. And that's part of coaching. 5 fingers ready. Everything should be up for review this offseason, Pierce Sargent. Probably will be. Marsha, what do you got? Good morning, all. Exclamation point. Good to see you, my friend, by the way. Ready this blistering hot 35 degrees day. Exclamation point. Getting my shorts on. Woo! Go Lions. Enjoy the shorts and the blistering 35. Henry Moore, I want to see what the Pez man is about before I get excited about that hire. We'll see, but really, even when we get to the preseason games, he's not going to show much. It will mostly be in the regular season next year. See what he can do. Johnny, Marsha, sounds like you live in Florida. That might be accurate. Hookadoo, Grip Morning Silver Surfer, Henry, Johnny L, Pierce, and Jen, all the above. Bo, hurry up and wait, Henry. All right. Jen, good morning, Henry. Kay, I hope we can all say Drew was a good hire a year from now. Yeah, let's hope so. Johnny, great morning to you. Hope you Hookadoo. How about that? Henry Moore, good morning, brother of Grit Hookadoo. Rob Hawk, if every draft pick, acquisition, and hire were perfect, teams wouldn't change year to year, except for the people retiring. Exclamation. That was probably a fair assessment of the situation. Amy, good morning, Dan, our wonderful Duke crew. Exclamation. While I am at a please punch the buttons. While I'm at it, please punch the buttons indeed. Thank you for that, Amy. Hey, more sounds like you know a mess line, Bo. Dre Day. Why can't the Lions be like the Steelers organization in a sense where they don't fire their head coaches if they have a winning season? Stability is the most important part and easier to get worse. It is easier to get worse. The Steelers really are a very rare breed. Now, that being said, probably helped Tomlin out to win, a championship or so. And the organization, they are different than most other organizations. Being fair to the Lions, and that doesn't necessarily need to include Sheila, they do tend to move on from coaches fairly quick. Although Sheila may be different. The only way to know is wait and see. Johnny, just remember, anything is possible. I like the way you're foretelling the future. Server, Drew Crew, the Pez about a lot of 12 and 13 personnel, 2 or 3 tight ends. Lions seem a little out of tight ends at the moment. Sam's back, a question mark. Brock's throw, another. Will they draft a tight end late? It is possible, or free agency, something like that. what's his name? Kyle Pitts is going to be available. Could they make a play for him? He's a big target. And to be fair, it does seem like his blocking has improved, where I thought that was a weakness coming out of college. Jen, good morning, Henry Moore and Johnny L. Queen Mary, good morning, Duke Crew. Hope everyone is doing well. And back at you, Queen. Pierce, Silver Server. Sooner than later, I think. My guess is round 4. That might be possible. Henry Moore, good morning, Jen. Thank you for what you did. Or what did Jen do? I guess I don't know. Bus driver Brent, good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. Hit that thumbs up button and woo, good to see you. Hopefully the roads are kind for you, my friend. Feels like we haven't seen you in a hot second, by the way. Bo, universal military thing, right, Henry? We'll find out. Henry Moore, good morning, Queen Mary. Dre Day, Silver Surfer. After this season, I told Coach they need to draft a tight end second round. Maybe they will, if the right one's there, right? Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. The life of a professional coach or player is simple. If you don't produce, you get replaced. The teams pay you a lot of money to get the results. If you don't, they stop paying. That is a harsh reality of the nature of the beast. Lauren, good morning, Duke Crew. I am here just training someone at work. To enjoy your training. Johnny, maybe go after a commit from Chicago. I wonder if they will. Pierce, will our OC try and steal the moon also? Hey, you got to do what you got to do. Server. And also, Coach, will Tesla or JMO suffer from such scheme? Will the Lions have the fullback things? I think most coaches find a way to use the talent you got. Doesn't mean they can't have ideas what they want to do, but my guess is, you're not going to have somebody sit just because, it doesn't fit schematically. You're going to find a way to X and O that person in there. We're going to do Grip Morning, my queen. Henry Moore, absolutely. Bo, Jen, thank you, Henry. Silver, and hello, Dre Day and Henry. Rob, I think Petzing is a great hire. Exclamation, not flashy, but a smart move, especially for the people available or for the position. They're okay. Silver, Sean McDermott thought he was safe too. This is accurate. Hey, Moore, good morning, Silver. Hookadoo, Lauren in training camp already. Hey, got to get ready early. Dre Day, Dan Campbell was a former tight end. His system is tight and friendly. That's why. All right. Dre Day, Porta gonna hurt so much? Maybe gone. I don't. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. So go Dave Montgomery. Love him. We'll see if they keep him. I think this could be a good move for him. Lauren Hogadoo, I got to train him up for another plant. He's a good guy. I just prefer to work alone. Hey, lone wolf mentality. Queen Mary, good morning, Hogadoo. Henry, Johnny L, Lauren, Silver, Lauren, Bo. My brother is doing today. We'll find out how they're doing today. Jen, okay, excellent. Time to get things going for work. Everyone have a safe and wonderful day listening to you, all your great content. Hey, we're listening or reading your comments and listening to me enunciate them. So it's kind of mutual. Lauren, Queen Mary, I'm doing good this morning. By the way, how about you? Silver Surfer, Queen Mary, hey, didn't I hear your name on Detroit Den? 313, question mark. I love Will Ford Jr. analysis. Mr. Hassany was there also. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Johnny L, good morning, beautiful Queen Mary. Dennis, good morning, all. Exclamation point. Chat is busy this morning. Great day to be a Lions fan. Hey, every day is a great day, right? Yeah, good to see my friend. The 302 kid. Good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Exclamation point. I think Dan Campbell is concerned about being outshined by his OC. That's why he chose a lesser-known OC. Go Lions. It's possible for sure. Look at it. Detroit Den 313 Silver Server. Johnny, diss. All right, diss indeed. All right, Silver Server. And good morning to Amy, Bo, and Lauren with an exclamation point. 32, Maddie, Dan didn't want another OC leaving to head coach. Yeah, I mean, if he's highly successful, somebody's going to try to snag him as their next head coach. It just is part of it. But you probably have at least 2 years with him. Johnny, I disagree. 302 kid. Pat Rock win, and DC doesn't need to worry. That simple. Probably accurate. Mary Smith, yeah, Silver, that's one of my favorites. Will and Steve keep me laughing. Nothing wrong with laughing. Johnny L, correct. 38, correct. Lauren, Silver Server, good morning. The program, good morning, Duke Crew. Silver Server, yes, Hookadoo. It is a podcast, but not live like here with the Duke Crew. Hey, we try to keep it live. Hey, it is Lions Talk Live. On Silver Server, I know I've been saying for a couple of years now that to move forward, we would have to change some coaches. Yep, it might be. Carrie, good morning, everyone. Back at you. Tori, Brad, and Dan, forever, I say. What might be accurate. JC, Gritty Sanitation's coach and crew. Exclamation point, back at you. Hookadoo. I check it out, Silver Sir. 38, I wonder how much Spielman is really involved. I think probably quite a bit, but he doesn't want to be in front of the camera. King, what do you got? If we don't get a stud center in free agency, we will have the same problems. probably going to look to address it, I would assume. Silver Server, Tori Apple, thank you, Tori. Better remember where we come from. Yes, indeed. Rob, 302 Kid, I don't think you hire a position like that worrying about being outshined. You hire them to shine. It helps you. Maybe. Let's see, Thomas, smack that like. We'll go ahead and smack it. Robert, greetings, salutations. Be careful driving today. As always, go Lions and do crew. Exclamation point. Silver Server is a thumbs up with an H. Jason, morning, everyone. Stay safe out there. You too, my friend. Mark, I heard MCDC got fired. Not as of yet, but we'll have to see what happens next year. I personally think the Lions are going to have a great year. MCDC is going to be safe next year. But if you don't, we'll see. Henry Moore, good morning, everyone. Back at you. Henry Moore Jr., by the way. Gary, does this outside the box hire of the new OC mean the Lions will be looking at personnel the same way? That I can't answer. No more Davenport experience, please. I think we all agree on that. Henry Moore, good morning. Henry Moore Jr., Queen Mary. I think Shep going to interview. My opinion is that Shep is not ready to be going anywhere for interviews, to focus on getting better with the Detroit Lions and then thinking about moving forward. Could be what they do. Black Jared Jones, good morning, Duke Crew, and same to you. Vincent, good morning, Coach Day and the Duke Crew, and always with you. Kim, this topic is way too much speculation. There could be any number of things that could impact next year's situation. If they're both totally fail, yes, could be fired. Yeah, could be up for review for sure. Mary, good morning, Carrie. Black Jared Jones, finger bang. Oh boy. Yeah, if you guys will hit the like and subscribe buttons. See, Hookadoo, I agree. Mary Shep, not even close to being responsible. Close to that responsibility yet. With an exclamation point. Jesus, what Lions must focus on defense in the draft. I would go that way. Me personally, defense wins games. Hey, hopefully they win the championship too. So if Dan Campbell starts kicking field goals and he did get better at the end of the season, then he can stay as long as Tom Landry stayed in Dallas. Brad can follow as long as he keeps learning. 100%. Although Tom Landry was famously fired. Drew, Dan got that 6-year deal and Brad got a 5-year deal. Exclamation point. Then they got extensions 2 years ago. They are not going anywhere next year, win or lose. I'm so tired of hearing this. Only bad momentum saying this. Okay. Gary, good morning, my queen. Queen Mary, indeed. Kim, interviews can be informational gathering and practice for what to expect when it's more realistic. Yeah, I try to always tell coaches I work with, anytime you get a chance to take that interview, do it. Because you want the next time you'll be a little less worked up, nervous, whatever it may be. You'll know things to add, so you can present better the following time. Thomas, look at the it's not the problem. Solidify the offense line. I concur. We still scored 28 plus points per game. Needs tweaking and kick fourth down in field goal range. Field goals, no more 3rd and 1s, fullback passes, fix the D. Let's see if they can avoid that Monty passing. Silver Service Spielman is involved more than we hear about, I believe. I would agree with that. He was the one who got Brandon Dan. He played a big factor for sure. Hossie Manley, good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew team. Thumbs up and back at you. Hopefully it's good afternoon in Cairo. Pierce, was anyone else really hoping Miami hired Shep, or am I the alone one? Question mark. I wanted the 3rd-round picks. There could be some that want that. I don't know. Mega Hustle. Dan Campbell got to fix that injury bug situation on this team, and especially on the defensive side. If he wants the Lions to make any type of noise in playoffs next season, yeah, you got to have your best players available. And I get football. Injuries are going to happen. You got to find a way to have them happen less. Jonathan, good morning. Back at you. Silver Server, hello there. Hassani Madley. It's easy. Our biggest problem have been the offensive line of injuries. Probably accurate. Hookadoo, good morning, Mr. Hassani. Can't wait till we have a med opposite Hutch. Exclamation point. Oh, yeah. Probably happening sooner versus later. Thomas, SS, the kicking 4th down field goals in the first half of games in stop poor at time play calling. We win 3 to 5 more games this past year. That might be accurate. Michelle, you got Jesus 11. Really okay? You're okay with the offensive line giving Goff less than 2.5 seconds to make plays? We'll find out. Pierce, easy. I think MCDC needs that change the way the practice and fix that. Maybe true. I say, Manley, good morning to all my friends watching Lions Talk Live. Good morning. Wayne, good morning to you too. Let's see. Henry Moore, good morning, Mr. Hassing. Big M. Good morning, Coach Daniel, the Duke Crew. Pierce Sargent, I was silently hoping Shep signed as well. I'm worried about the D moving forward with Shep as coordinator. Let's see what he can do next year. Thomas, we keep harping on the Rightfully so, exclamation point. The real problem was the D. I pray Brad and Dan see that. We'll see if they do see it. Hookadoo. Thomas, the O-line needs help. Goff doesn't even have time to throw the freaking ball. Yeah, I would say improving it would be great. Easy. Baja Blast or strictly Mountain Dew? Mountain Dew it is. Half diet, half regular, and not from a can or a bottle. It's got to be from the fountain. Pierce, Big M. Again, I just wanted third-round picks. Hey, selfishly, we all love those picks. Hookadoo, Thomas, and the offense line needs to make holes for Sonic and Knuckles. I'll take that. Big M. Pierce, laughing out loud, I agree those picks would get us some decent linemen for the trenches. Maybe. Thomas, Kyle Allen is a good backup. The dude has started and won big games. It would be foolish to let him go. We've been unbelievable in Goff's health. Keep Allen. We'll see if they do. Oops. Hold on. Hit the wrong button here. Let me get back on the screen now. Sorry, guys. Big issue here. Mega House, I know Coach Campbell has a lot of deals because Brad keeps providing him with injury-prone players. But he's got to come up with a strategy to keep his core players healthy for a playoff run. I'll go with that. Silver Surfer, Malik is not coming here to sit behind the quarterback, rarely missing games. Lions should have got him earlier instead of drafting Hooker. Yeah, I don't think the story was about Malik Willis coming to Detroit. Just there was another guy. Could they sign? Lions have signed him to a futures deal to try to help out with the depth here. Pierce, Mega Hustle, practice schedule, take a full pads day off the board, maybe. Amy, Drew Pretzing can get Goff to run more. That would be great with an exclamation point. Marsh, I love the coach rivalry. Let's get back to the real Detroit Lions. Woo! I'll take that. Harry Hookadoo, I just want them to take their time developing him. Can't afford another season injury with him. He's going to be great. Let's keep him great. Great is good. JC, coach, thoughts on possibly bring in Kyler Murray to back up Goff? I don't think they probably will just because, I don't know Kyler Murray well. I just think he's going to want an opportunity to be a starting quarterback. Maybe that time has passed him, though. Maybe he's willing to take a backup assignment. I don't know. Thomas Hookie, yes, the offensive line needs tweaking, but did no one notice when Sonic could not break free? Did no one notice Knuckles could and did? Our running backs were misused big time last year, exclamation point. JK, we all wanted dope for OC, but Coach Dan got us benzos. There's a problem going on here, y'all. Maybe, easy. I had to shut some of those games off. They were so tough to watch, frustrating from what we were used to seeing previous years. Okay, Kim, Goff is not going to be a running quarterback, regardless of the OC. That's not his strength. No, I would agree, not his strength. Bo, Hookie, and Thomas, both things can be true. That might be accurate. Ron, I don't want Shepard back as the DC. I think he doesn't make adjustments well. Hopefully that improves. Big M, hopefully Petzing leaves his screens and draws third down play sheets with the Cardinals. Maybe he will. Hookadoo, very true. Bo with the thumbs up. Thomas, Dan, your take on the draft and free agents. I believe you nailed it. Go for free agents on the offensive line, draft heavy on D. That's what I would do, but I'm not the Detroit Lions. Michael, when Goff has time, he could put up some huge points versus any team. I would say that's accurate. Keep his pocket clean. But that's true with any quarterback. I get people say, well, a mobile quarterback could do this. I mean, look at the Final Four. How many mobile quarterbacks are there really? And is what it is. JK, Petzing, Eagles, Tron Aries. How about that? Hasi Manley, good morning, Mr. Hookadoo, Henry Moore, Silver Server, JK, Cynthia, Jen, Mary Smith. All the above. How about that? Let's see, Pierce. Pretzing grew from Despicable Me. Ooh, groove. I didn't even think about that one. All right, guys, there's like 5 minutes left, so I'm going to power through and get people on who haven't been on as much. Amy, good morning, Silver Server, Queen Mary, and Hookadoo. I agree, Hookadoo. Can't wait until Med takes the field. I think we're all chopping the bit for that. Kim, problem with Ben Johnson is he left the Lions hanging to focus on his future. Understand selecting what he considered the best head coach job. Give your all for the current job and resign. Get out of the way. Maybe true. Hookadoo. Great morning, Amy. He's going to be Beast, Amy. I think so. Bo, terrible sequel movie, Surfer. All right. Easy. That movie would look cool on an older oil, though. Laughing out loud. Okay, I'm not sure if I read that right. Johnny, good morning, Duke Crew. Have an amazing day. Back at you, Johnny Gas Sports. We got to get you back on the show, man. JK, go. Love that game. How about that? Silver, thanks, Bo. Hey, you got to go and have things sometime. Thomas, Volume in and out. Is that just me? That I don't know. I can't see on your screen. Henry Moore, Senior. I think he is top tier. Moonscar Blade. In my lifetime, 4 straight winning seasons, won 2 playoff games, had best record, highest winning percentage. MCDC is #1 Lions coach, hands down, no contest. Man, you're a Fonts hater. That's all I'm gonna say, man. I'm just messing with you. Does just you, Thomas? Silver Sir, it's you, Thomas. Let's see, Dorian, Brad before MCDC? Could be indeed. Okay, that's very true, Moonscar. Pierce, 9-8 record, 65-70% MCDC gets fired. All right. Dre Day, that's so tragic. Pierce Sargent might be indeed. Stephen, greetings, salutations, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. Brad and Dan are on the hot seat for sure. Remember, the standard is the standard. They set the standard. That's why they're near the flame now. The rope is short. They did talk about it when they were all hired, for sure. No. Mock drafts already. I already got one out there, but probably in a week or so we'll have another one. Lauren, too early for mocks. We'll be mocking the mock then. Hubbard, John Gruden's Buffalo coach, Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh Atlanta coach. John Harbaugh, obviously we know he's going to the New York Giants. Tomlin, I think he's just going to sit out, but I don't know. Maybe somebody making him an offer he can't refuse. Bus driver, if we miss the playoffs with a 4th place schedule, then I think there is a strong chance changes are made. Might be. It's reality of sports. Chad the historian, another person I haven't seen in a hot second. If we had GM as owners, we'd have at least 4 Super Bowl wins, but they've been stuck with the 4th. Maybe. Malik Willis, thank you for that, Alex. Other people haven't been on as much. Alex, Malik Willis would be a steal for Lions. Let's see if it can happen. Bus driver Brent, I agree. Silver, I liked him more than Jack. Pierce, we're going to do that was me. Exclamation cause, hey, exhibit a DDI. JK, exactly. Pierce, results. Got to have results, right? Lent, just think if Brad and Dan inherited the team most of y'all gave to Contricia to ruin, you're all tripping big time. We just need offensive line to play well, nothing more or less. Yeah, let's get that offensive line fixed. I like the way you're thinking. All right, JK, now, Hubert. We miss Sal. Now McDaniels, Flores, the cheap stuff is messing us over. All right, 81 Lions, baby. From what I'm talking away from this new OC, it looks like we are sticking with the run more than the throw. So what the heck we're going to do with Brown, J-Mo, and Tesla? I feel we made a big mistake with the new OC. We'll see what he has planned for sure. Those are things I can't answer right now. Jim, then Jimmy Johnson got fired, and Jimmy Johnson did get fired too. Hubert, upgrade our training staff. No excuses. Look what the Niners accomplished this year. Good point. Crosby, too. How we missed that from defensive end. How about that? Cut bait time is coming. Maybe. Silver Surfer, right. Pierce will have the Eagles offensive coordinators left to be head coaches. They did. Pierce, slightly different. Myles Garrett, dude, wasn't a free agent. He wasn't. No change of the goalposts. All right. I don't think they will change him. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe eventually they'll move him back. J.K. Trey Hendrickson was a smokescreen. Could be. Poaching. Sometimes it's going to get poached. Silver coach, look at Ratledge physically. 6'7", very athletic. Yeah, I like him. Good feet. Lions talking about playing him at center. Why isn't anybody thinking he could be an offensive tackle? Looks much more like a tackle than a center. Thoughts? I'd say probably just keep him at guard. I mean, I guess anything's possible, but I don't think they're going to move him around that much. I know they've talked about it, but personally, then you open up a hole at guard, right? Dennis, I think Ratledge could stay where he's at, get a left tackle, and let the right side make holes for Sonic and Knuckles. Let's see if they do. Tilla, about right to left offensive tackle, Ratledge arm length isn't optimal for playing tackle. Okay, yeah. Chin, what do you got? Good morning. Change is needed. We'll see if they do change. Most fans don't think about those little factors. It can happen, man. Tom, what do you got? What game of the 26th season do you predict will turn into the Drew crew? Probably early in the season. If he's producing, you're going to have a lot of people jump on that bandwagon. But let's wait and see what he does, for sure. All right, JK, I don't know, Pierce. Should they keep Davenport? I think I probably know that answer. You know where I stand on that. Laughing out loud. Henry Moore, have a glorious day, my friends. I'll chat with you tomorrow. We'll see you next time. Hubert, what do you got? We can't stop nobody. Defense has got to improve. Big M, agree to tell on moving Ratledge to center. Queen Mary, have a blessed day, y'all. See you in the morning. We'll see you then. Hubert, we need to fire Tom Maz from covering our team. He is a double agent. How about that? Riley Bryan, Lions Talk Live, 100% strong. Thank you for helping keep it strong. Dr. Troy, I would force Decker, how about that, to retire. Move Panay to the left tackle or right tackle, pick up a center and free agency. Maybe they'll do all that. Hookadoo, grip morning, Riley. Bo, happy trails, do crew, all done, dusted for the day. See you tomorrow. We'll see you then, my friend. Gary, happy trails. Have a great hump day. Stay safe, bundle up, stay home, or Lions, woo. Go Lions, woo. How about that? Brian, Blake Willis will be a Dolphin, and Kyle Allen as a free agent. See what the Lions do. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're going to do. Silver, yes, bring Johnny Gaz on the show. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since we had him on. I'm going to stay warm, enjoy the great day, and hopefully you have a phenomenal day. Brian, I like the new OC, wanted Brian Daboll, but I think this guy fits. Yeah, seems to. Dr. Troy, they should move Danbord to left tackle. How about that? Dennis, praying for you, praying for your mom, Tom. 100%. Was there something I missed? Can I get some prayers for my mom? She's having leg amputated Thursday or Friday. Sorry to hear of that for you, my friend. Hey, everybody, do if you can send some mental vibes, well wishes, and prayers Brian's way, that would be great. All right, guys, if there's breaking news later today, I'll get to you as soon as possible. If you would be so kind, hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do something kind for some of you to know. Be a good human being, and we'll see you all on the very next Lions Talk Live. Have a phenomenal day, everybody.
Thank you.